Smoky blackened chicken paired with creamy cheesy pasta is a match made in heaven. Easy to make in less than half an hour, this pasta dinner is versatile and deserves to be a staple in your dinner rotation. Plus, make extra Cajun seasoning and keep it on hand to spice up all of your culinary concoctions. Alright, we'll start by making our own Cajun seasoning or blackened seasoning. It's a great way to control the spice and salt level. A couple teaspoons of smoked paprika, followed by a quarter teaspoon of ground thyme, 1 teaspoon of oregano leaves, half teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder. The exact ingredients will be down below in the description, of course. A pinch of ground dried mustard, and as much cayenne as you want. I'm doing about half a teaspoon there. Some fresh cracked pepper, and maybe a quarter teaspoon or so of salt. Again, you can vary these proportions to suit your tastes. If you don't use it all right away, just store it in an airtight container. It'll last for a few weeks, if not longer, before it loses its pungency. Alright, we can turn our attention to the dish itself. I've got 2 chicken breasts here, which I'm going to very liberally season with our Cajun seasoning. I'm using about half of what I've made there. This recipe is written to serve 4, but if you're feeling extra hungry and you're going to eat an entire chicken breast and big old bowl of pasta, you may only get 2 servings out of this. As always, your mileage may vary. Once those are nicely seasoned, we'll add a couple tablespoons of olive oil to a skillet over medium-high heat, followed by a couple tablespoons of unsalted butter. Once that butter is melted, we are going to lay our chicken breasts in very carefully away from us and blacken those on one side, about 3 to 5 minutes depending on your burner heat. Give those a flip. Got a beautiful color on that first side. Now we need to cook them through. So I'm going to take them and pop them into a 400-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes, or until they're cooked through to 165 degrees, as always. While we wait on that, I'm going to smash up 4 cloves of garlic and get those finely minced. And I'll take a couple of tomatoes and just slice the top off of them. I'm using Roma tomatoes here. And we don't want all that water and juice and pulp in there, so once I've got the top cut off, I'm going to slice them in half and use a spoon to scoop out those seeds and juices. You can just discard that. We really just want the tomato flesh, which I am going to slice and dice into about 1/2-inch pieces. We'll set that aside. I'm also going to cook 8 ounces of pasta. I'm going with a penne, which I'm doing off camera because I think you know how to cook pasta. Look, beautiful cooked chicken. We'll set that aside, and we can go and turn our attention to our creamy sauce. We'll start by adding in most, but not all of those tomatoes, stirring them around in those chicken juices and butter and olive oil for about 3 to 4 minutes until they are nicely softened and starting to give up some of their liquid and juices. At that point, we can add in our garlic. Give that 30 to 60 seconds until it's nice and fragrant in that hot pan. Next up, we will bring 1.5 cups of heavy cream to the party. This is a pretty decadent dish, but it's worth it, I promise you. Stir all that together, add in another pinch of your Cajun seasoning, again to taste. And then we'll bring in 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. You would never use pre-grated, would you? No, you wouldn't. That is a sin. So, once that is nicely melted into our cream, we'll add our 8 ounces of previously cooked pasta. You could go with cavatappi or even linguine or spaghetti for this if you wanted. Give that 1 to 2 minutes to just soak up all that cheesy, creamy sauce. Let some of that starch thicken everything up. And at this point, we are just about ready to plate this up. To do so, I like to go ahead and get a little fancy with it, as always. Slice this chicken on a slight bias cut into some 1/2-inch to 1-inch thick slices. Oh, look at how juicy that is. I've got a nice big bowl of that creamy pasta. I'm just going to lay the chicken right down over top. You can see I had an appetite tonight. I went ahead and put the entire chicken breast on there. I'm going to garnish that with just a few of those fresh tomato pieces that we didn't cook. Some scallion greens, because, this is dishing out. We'll drizzle over a little bit more Parmesan cheese and some of that Cajun seasoning. That is a beautiful bowl of food. So if you've ever been to one of those chain restaurants, maybe one that rhymes with Willie's and starts with a C, you've seen something like this on their menu, and I just had to go out of my way to create a way to make it and eat it at home. And honestly, maybe it's just because it's homemade, but I think it's even better than the restaurant stuff. I hope you'll give it a try. Man, look at that pasta just dripping with cheesy sauce. My face dripping with cheesy sauce. Do apologize about that. I mean, what's not to love about this? Crispy blackened chicken and cheesy creamy pasta. As I said in the intro, a match made in heaven. I hope you'll make it, or at the very least, make something delicious.